What we will be discussing in this today's session is more about WebDrivers and what are the various methods and various properties that we can make use using WebDriver so that we can perform our test automation operations. So they could be clicking on an element or checking whether an element is present or not, waiting for a particular element or not, and so on and so forth. So those we will be discussing about it in detail in this session. And we'll see a couple of examples also, how to find a particular element and how to make use of those elements in our script. All right, so let's begin our today's session. WebDriver, we'll skip this introductory part. I'll just discuss about the architecture, what WebDriver follows, so that you could just get a knowledge about how WebDriver is placed or how it works in the automation activity. So what we have is we have our programs written in either of the programming language or script written in either of the programming language, be it Java, PHP, or C#. Then what happens is those commands are then sent to our WebDriver server, and that in turn gives command to the browser using JSON API. It's just a knowledge that you guys should be aware about it, how the flow happens. So our commands flow from this, goes to the WebDrivers, and then WebDrivers converts them into browser actions and passes those commands to the browser using our driver APIs. And then the driver will provide the feedback to the to our scripts using the same flow. This is the overall architecture that is followed by WebDriver servers, WebDriver APIs. Okay. We have seen how to install our Selenium bindings in our previous sessions. So I'll be skipping this part for now. And we'll go directly to our Selenium script. Now, first of the scripts is navigate to Techcanvass homepage, verify its title, and print out the result of the comparison. So what it says is, so this is our requirement. Now this requirement says that you have to navigate to Techcanvass homepage. You have to verify whether the title is proper or not, and then display the result of it. So this is an actual requirement that we have to automate. So how do we do it? This is the program that we generally follow. What we do is, first thing is we open the browser. We start the browser. Now how we do is we use WebDriver class. We create a new object for this class and we open a Firefox browser. Now here, if you want to open a Firefox, we'll provide a new Firefox browser. If you want to open Chrome, we'll provide Chrome driver. And if you want to open an IE browser, then we would be using new Internet Explorer browser. Now Selenium, as I said earlier in earlier sessions, Selenium 3.0 uses a Geeko driver to drive the browsers or open the browsers. Now we have seen how to download Firefox Geeko driver using from the Selenium site. We can also download IE and Chrome drivers from the same site. I'll just show it to you. We go to Selenium HQ. I go to the download section. Now in this download section, there is one section over here Internet Explorer driver server. Okay, depending upon your machine, whether it is 32-bit or a 64-bit, we should download that relevant driver file. So I have 64-bit, and for that I'll be clicking on this 64-bit Windows IE, and I'll be able to download a IE driver. That would be a zip file, which I have already downloaded. Which is this one, IE driver server 64, x64, and the version number. So when I unzip it, I get something like this, IE driver server. This is a .exe file. Similarly, to download Chrome driver, I go to third-party drivers binding and plugin section, and that there's a link for Google Chrome driver and the version. Just click on this version and it will redirect to this page, chromedriver.storage.googleaps.com. And over here, if you have a Linux or a Mac or a Windows, depending upon your machine, you have to download your Chrome driver. So since it's a Windows machine, my machine is a Windows, so I'll download Chrome driver. Yes, it does work. Yeah, absolutely. So 32-bit is a lower version, and if your machine is a 64-bit, you will be able to execute the 32-bit version. So that should not be a problem. Okay, so when I click on this 32 Chrome driver win32, I get a zip file, a 4 MB zip file, and that zip file is something like this, Chrome driver win32. And when I unzip it, I get an exe file, which is chrome driver.exe. Right. So, and similarly, we had also downloaded the Firefox driver, which is Gecko driver. So these drivers are needed to open our web browser, desired web browser, and convert the Selenium commands into browser instructions. Okay, so I have an example over here. Now, going on the slide example, this is that example. What we are doing is we are opening the Firefox browser, and then we would be navigating it to the desired desired application, and we would be getting the title of that application and verifying whether the title is properly or not. So in the code, what I do is I set the properties. Now you any which ways have to set the properties because it's a third-party driver, and Selenium needs to know where is this driver file. So we have to set the properties of browser drivers. For Firefox, we have webdriver.gecko.driver. For Chrome, it is webdriver.chrome.driver, and for IE, it is webdriver.ie.driver. So that is the property name, and the value of this file, or rather the file is located at this particular location. So we have to specify this location while setting the properties. Then we do webdriver is equal to new Firefox driver, and using navigate to driver.navigate.to, and we provide the application. So here we would provide http://techcanvass.com. There is another way to open the web application is by driver.get. method. These both do the same functionality. Navigate to also opens the application, and get also opens the application. So either of them we can make use of it. Then the next command, which is driver.manage.window.maximize. Now what it does is it maximizes the browser. So you have, supposedly this is my browser. If it's in this mode, manage.window.maximize will maximize this browser. Okay. Then what I do is look at this command. I say driver.getTitle. Now this method .getTitle, what it will do is it will get the title of the current window that is open with respect to the driver instance. So when I open Firefox browser and when I navigate to techcanvass.com, what it will do is once the application is open, it will look out for the title and it will store that title in the variable site title. So let's say I navigate to techcanvass.com. This is the application that has been opened, and can you see the title over here? It is something IT certifications training, automation testing courses, business analyst course. So this is the title that will be stored in the string site title using the command driver.getTitle. Then how do I verify it? Is basis this method. So right now just focus on the keyword assert equals. We will study in depth about this functionality when we talk about TestNG, because this is related to TestNG assertions and verification. There we'll be able to know more about how to use assertions and what are actually assertions. So as of now, assertion is basically used to validate your test or check your test. In this example, what I'm doing is I am checking the title provided and the title I'm getting from the application. If they match, I go further. If they do not match, the test is stopped there itself. So if asserts fail, your test do not continue. And if asserts pass, they continue to the next command. So here I have driver.close. Now let's execute this program and see what is the output of it. So I run it as Java application. The browser is open. It's navigating to the site. I have used a system.out.println site title, and I print the site title what I'm getting using driver.getTitle, which is IT certification training, automation testing courses, business analyst course. So this is what the title that I got from the application under test. Now as soon as this was executed, both the title, so actual title and the site title were true, and hence it closed the browser. So driver.close command, what it does is it closes the browser instance. Okay, now let's say my actual title was supposed to be, say, IT certifications training only, for an example. Okay. Now I perform this operation. Ideally, as per the flow, the assertion should fail and the test should terminate at this line itself, right? Since they are not matching. So if I run it, so browser is opened. I'm navigating to Techcanvass side. I got the title of the application under test. And now, if you see, the browser is active as it is. Or rather, I would say the browser did not close, right? Can you notice in the previous example when we executed this script, the browser closed automatically, but right now it did not close. What had happened? So in this case, we got an assert failure and the test terminated here itself. So this command did not execute. Since assertion failed, the test did not continue and it failed or it stopped where the assertion failed. So if I see the console, I'm getting a error message that exception in thread assertion error. If you see, I get a message site title does not match with expected title. Expected was something this, but it found this. I got it wrong. It should have been the other way. Please excuse me. Yeah. Okay. So expected was this, but it found the entire IT training, automation, testing course, business analyst course, and hence the test failed. And since the test failed, we have made use of assertion. The test stopped there in there itself. All right. So this is the way you get the title and you verify the title. So our program was to navigate to home page, verify the title, and print the result of the comparison. That is what we did. All right. Is it clear, or is there any confusion? Shall we move ahead? Okay, I guess there's no questions, so I'll move ahead. So there are a couple of other commands that there's one question. Yes, please ask. Mahesh has some question. Mahesh, please go ahead. Mahesh, are you there? We're not able to hear you. Yeah. Once test case fails, script to record and report. Can you please elaborate your question? Hello. So what I understand is, how do we report failure? Right. So so your question is, how do we report test failure, automation test failure? All right. So for that purpose, when we talk about test ng, all right, test ng testing framework has the visibility of reporting test cases that are failed. So once a test is failed, we get an HTML report, and in that HTML report, we understand which test failed and due to what reason. So in a program over here, this test failed due to assertion error. Okay, and it said some message that title does not match. Now this was the reason because of which the test failed. So in this simple program, what example right now I gave, we are getting that report in the console itself. Correct. But using TestNG framework, we will be able to see this report on an HTML file. And that HTML file, probably we can share it across to the relevant stakeholders, probably our test manager or a project manager for that matter, the relevant stakeholders, to let them know that how many tests passed, how many tests failed, and the test which failed, what was the reason behind it. All right. Okay. So let's move ahead. Okay. So yes, we'll come to it. We'll be talking about the screenshot in this session itself, and we'll talk about it when we come across that slide. Okay. So let's continue. There are a couple of commands for getting our operations done. So we have get, as I said earlier, get also opens up a browser and it fetches the page that you specify inside the parentheses. Okay. Get title, as we saw right now, what it does is it fetches the title of the current page and it returns the string to the desired variable. Get page source, what it does is it returns the source code of the HTML page. Now when I say source code, so when I right click on it, when I view page source, the entire source code is stored, or rather it is written when I make use of get page source. Ideally we should not be using this get page source method, because what happens is if the application or the source code is way too large, then searching for a particular string will become difficult. But still we have this option of getting the entire source code in a variable and performing certain operations, and we can make use of get page source method. Get current URL, what it does is it fetches the string representing the current URL. So for an example, I have this page open and it will fetch me this URL. So at times when we have certain values or variables that have been passed to a particular URL, what we can do is we can use get current URL and we can check whether the desired URL is been opened or not. So one default check is getting the page title. Another default check is getting the current URL. So these are common tests that we can use across all the web applications that we are bound to test. Okay, then we have something called as get text. What it does is it fetches the text of a particular element. So if I have let's say this is my page, and if I want to get the text of these titles, what I'll do is I'll make use of get text to find the titles of these elements. So I'll get home or about us, courses, self-paced course, and so on. So just to give you an idea about what get text does is, let's inspect this element using path. Now if you can see, I have this hyperlink which is ahref index.aspx, and there is some text called as home. So get text will return me this value, highlighted home value. Right? Similarly, the next one is about us. It will give me about us text. All right. So get text is used to get the inner text of a particular web element, be it a label or be it a link, for that matter, any web element. If there is a text inside it, it will provide me the text of it. If it's an image, then we will not be able to get the text of it using get text. All right. Navigate to URL. We just saw navigate to URL example. The syntax is driver.navigate to, and we specify the URL in the parentheses. There is one method called as navigate.back. What it does is it performs a back operation, what we do it on browser. So this operation, clicking on back button, is done using navigate.back. And let's say this is a new page which has been opened. I have another method which is navigate.forward. So it will perform a forward operation, which is navigate.forward. So the syntax is driver.navigate to .forward. So it is similar to the back and the forward browser actions. Generally, in an automation script or other in a test application, very rarely we make use of forward and backward operations or actions, because what happens is when we are testing a particular web application, we have to maintain state and we have to maintain that conditions. So when we click on backward or a forward, we do not get a fresh data. And in that case, possibility is that using back or forward actions, we would get old state and not the new state. So for session related applications, it is preferably not to use forward or a backward actions. But then if there is a requirement of, or if there's a test uh, to do it, then definitely we should be using it. All right, let's move ahead. Okay, before that, before we visit this or we discuss about this slide, I would like to show a couple of examples to open Firefox and IE browser. So this example, what it did was it opened a Firefox browser and it navigated to Techcanvass site and verified the title. Similarly, if you want to open Chrome browser, we do it this way. So I have a program for Chrome driver which says set properties for Chrome driver, which is webdriver.chrome.driver, and I specify the Chrome driver.exe path, and I say webdriver is equal to webdriver is equal to new Chrome driver, and I navigate to the site. So when I run this program, my Chrome browser will be open and the site will be navigated. So did you see what happened? It actually it opened the Chrome browser, it visited the Techcanvass site, it maximized the window, it got the title, and then it performed the assertion, and it closed the driver instance. Similarly for IE, we make use of same way. Instead of Chrome, we make use of IE. Now, for IE, there are certain things that we need to take care. IE being a really strict browser, first of all that we need to take care in IE is the zoom level. So before starting an operations or test scripts on IE, what we have to do is we have to go to the IE browser. In the settings over here, see the zoom level. It has to be 100%. It cannot be less than that or more than that. The zoom level has to be always 100%. Second option is protected mode. So in the internet option, go to the internet option, we have security tab. In the security tab, we have certain 4 options for the zoom to view changes. Now in each tab, we have certain settings which requires enable protected mode. This value or this checkbox has to be checked for all the 4 options. So the protected mode has to be on. Once you check mark all the options, you just have to click OK and restart your browser, IE browser. These 2 settings have to be done before executing our tests on IE browsers, so that our scripts run smoothly on IE browser. Okay. Now, apart from Chrome, IE, Firefox browser, there are other browsers also that are supported by Selenium Webdriver, which is HTML Unit, Opera, Phantom.js, and Safari. Now, Safari we all know it's a Mac default browser. Opera is also another browser, but it is not so widely used. Uh, there are two browsers, which is HTML Unit and Phantom JS. Now these two browsers, they are known as headless browser. Now what is the term headless browser? Headless browser is nothing but a, a browser without a GUI. It does not have a GUI, but it will do all the operations that you perform on a browser. So it will open a page, it will open an application, and if you want to perform a click operation, it will do all those operations that a regular browser does, but it will do it in a backend. So this is called as headless browser. Now you would ask, what is the difference between what is the purpose of using a headless browser than a normal GUI based browser? What happens is, uh, at times we have to check some network protocols, or rather we have to check some HTTP um, status codes of desired application. Whenever we hit a particular URL, we get some HTTP status code. So in that case, what we have to do is we just have to see whether the status code was appropriate or not, and we verify that status code, and that's about it. So for that purpose, we need not open a browser, a GUI based browser, and navigate to that page and check the HTTP code. Rather, what we can do is we can make use of this headless browser, and we can go about checking our these uh, test activities. Just to give you an example, what HTTP codes are. Let's say I visit this application, and in this Firebug tool and the tab net, I can see certain URLs been called. Okay, can you see this? Now in this URL, we have the status. It's 200 OK, 3 not 4 not modified, 1 not 1 switching protocols, XYZ statuses are there. What are these statuses? These statuses are nothing but the response status of an URL. So the server sends this status as a response, whether it was working fine or not modified or whatever. So at times, when we want to just check all the links are working properly or not, and there is no error page that has been redirected to, or there is no 404 error or 504 error, something like that, then what we can do is we can make use of these headless browsers like Phantom JS or HTML unit browser, and we can navigate to this page and check the HTTP response of it. That's about it. So that is the purpose of ideal purpose of these headless browsers. So it performs, you can also perform a click operation on the particular page, and you can get your work done. So it is as good as a browser. The only thing is it does not have a GUI.